Howdy, all. Professor Parks, PhD here, and I'm going to I felt the need to record a small video. I apologize for the background music. I am in a showcase room, and yeah, there's background music playing. Anyway, so before my students get back in, let's get into it. The reason why I'm making this video is because for reasons I have not been overly motivated to work. And so I was going into my introduction to cosmology class basically unprepared. I had not sat down and really mapped out a lecture to what I wanted to talk about. And I was pretty frightened about it because it was general relativity, which is a tricky subject to talk about anyway, even if you are prepared. And I was expecting it to be a train wreck. And as it turned out, I think, from my perspective, I don't know about the students, but from my perspective, it was actually one of the better lectures I've ever taught because I was able to make connections. I was able to actually have a narrative, create a narrative on the spot, which is something I do better at that. I am better at spontaneous creativity rather than planned out creativity, which is why I usually never, if ever, use scripts. Where was I going with this? And the reason why I think it went so well was actually, I think I have Flat Earth to thank for this, because, there's an adage that says if you want to learn something, the best way to learn something is to teach it to someone else. Because what having to teach something to someone else and having to teach it in a responsible way where you feel a general responsibility to not mislead or not, BS someone, is you need to really know what you're talking about to the point that you understand it at such a functional level that you can explain it in a variety of different ways if someone has a difficulty understanding how you first explained it. So you really need to understand the topic functionally. So you can't just read up on a Wikipedia page and then be able to teach something. You really need to know what you're talking about. And prior to the Flat Earth thing, I was teaching general astronomy, and my research expertise is in young stars and exoplanets. So cosmology really had left my radar since grad school. But in the Flat Earth conversation, obviously there's this contention as to what gravity is, or rather, what if gravity exists. And in combating that, in talking about that gravity is a thing and it does exist, you have to get into what gravity is, which then ultimately brings you to general relativity. And so in the process of learning or being able to tell other people, particularly lay people, how gravity works, what gravity is, I really had to go back to general relativity and research it and refresh my memory as to what space-time is, what is a space-time metric, things of that nature, and what are the consequences of being in curved space-time. And so yeah, I was, given my most recent mood, it was definitely a ray of light. And so the message I'm just putting out there now, as I still have residual energy from it, is if you want motivation to learn something and you can't seem to find it anywhere else, see if you can teach it to somebody. Find someone you would want to teach that particular subject to. And that will definitely, and if you feel a responsibility to get it right, that is a powerful motivator to learn, to really understand a subject. not just from a superficial level. Because again, if you have only a superficial level of a topic, you're not going to be very good at explaining it, because you're really only going to be, you're going to be basically pigeonholed into one type of explanation, and that is the superficial explanation that you know. You cannot, it'll be very difficult to come at it from a different angle. And also, you're more than likely, if you try to come at it at a different angle, you're more than likely going to fall into some kind of misconception and get it wrong. And so if you feel a responsibility to get it right, you feel a responsibility to your students or whomever, then yeah, it's a fantastic way to learn. And so yeah, in a way, I'm indebted to looking into Flat Earth, because I think is one positive. People ask, obviously, why challenge conspiracy theories? There are a number of reasons to do it. But I think from a selfish point of view, or an academic point of view, particularly if you're someone who's in the field that you're trying to push up against or combat, then it's a great learning tool. It's a great way to learn. It's particularly if it is in your general field, but not something that you specifically study. So, so like I said, with cosmology has never been my particular field of expertise, but I know more cosmology now because, I also teach it now, but because of Flat Earth, I'm even more motivated to understand the nuances of it, because also I have had to explain it in different ways to different people, because people understand in different ways. So you have, for each individual person, you're going to have to tailor your explanation such that they can understand it. And so, and as I said, if you have a superficial understanding of a topic, you don't have that freedom of motion. You don't have that freedom of perspective to really work with the student or whomever. So yeah, I think that is another reason to challenge conspiracy theories, as it were. And really, I think, when folks say do your own research, I think that's really what is meant by that statement. Is you need to do your own research so that you can understand the topic itself. And that cannot simply be done by looking at examples of a phenomenon, but truly understanding the physical underpinnings of what's going on. That, I think, is what is truly doing your own research. All right, I think I'm repeating myself and my students are showing back up, so I will end this. If you like this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe, and peace out, clear skies.